Friday, December the 6th. My name is Alan Chow.
Hi, I'm Brian.
I'm Eric.
I'm Paul.
And welcome to 16 Inputs, a podcast where we talk about video games. It is episode 13. As we draw an end to the year 2013, let's talk about the best games we played this generation. My favorite game this generation I played was The Last of Us. That game really changed the way I thought about survival horror in a shooter genre. And I thought that the story and the characters were quite amazing for the type of game they were trying to make. What about you guys?
My favorite would probably have been Civ 5, the final expansion, or rather third expansion, Brave New World. I was finally able to get Civ to a point where I can really commit myself more than usual, which means I almost had no life.
Mine was Saints Row 4.
Okay.
See, I don't. Oh, wait a minute. Damn it. No, it's still GTA knockoff.
That's not GTA knockoff. This is not superhero powers. What the hell are you talking about? No,
Superhero powers.
the thing which I love about Saints Row 4 is that, there's a ton of customization on it. So you could either be a male, female, change what hair color, dress colors you can be, wear different kind of costumes. You could be Boba Fett if you want. You could be riding a dinosaur if you want. It's all wacky and crazy, and it's one of the funniest games which I played this year. And I needed that laugh, so yeah. And even though the story is pretty stupid, you actually come to care for the characters because it's basically a bunch of you and your homies go around trying to save the world, while like this evil alien race is like going around enslaving people and stuff. So yeah, so basically you're trying to figure out a way how to like beat that alien boss, but whatever. But yeah, I don't know, I thought it was pretty fun. It's like you get some pretty cool superpower weapons. So you can fly around, you can blast them with ice powers, you can stomp and after a rain hailstorm everywhere around the city and stuff. And you can also use psychic powers and also control people too. Or they also have pretty funny weapons, like there's a blowing up gun where you can blow up people after they grow big, after their eyes bulge out and then they explode. I know. I thought that was pretty funny, and yeah, I'm sure it's the same city as Saints Row 3, but they changed enough of it to make it feel different, and yeah, I actually like it, and I can't wait to get the DLC where the Saints save Christmas, and hopefully it'll be fun. Yeah, I mean the first DLC was Enter the Dominatrix. It's basically this Dominatrix comes in after that you must try to kill her, but basically she tosses furries at you, so you must toss furries back into their cages.
What?
Yeah, so you use your psychic powers and you grab all these furries and toss them back into cages. Yeah.
Sounds so wrong on so many levels.
No, no, it's funny. It's like you're trying to infiltrate her base, so you must dress up as a gimp costume too. But mine was female, so I have like a dildo sticking out and, around my waist area. And I have a ball gag around my mouth, so I can't talk properly. But all my dialogue is all like "Arr, arr, 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 arr." I have a ball gag all around my mouth.
That's so awful.
It is. Yeah, after one of her minions is called Dom the Dom.
Okay.
And he was sitting on a throne made out of penises. Yeah, so basically, in order to see the dominatrix, I need to submit myself and make myself a submissive. Yeah.
It's
I
so
know.
wrong on so many levels. And
It
yet,
is, but it's pretty funny. I like it. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
sounds like a wholesome street fair come to life. I mean, no, wholesome street fair is real.
No,
No.
you can't actually pull a Folsom Street Fair. Actually, go like all crazy and stuff. You can actually go nude and like run around the street after people be freaking out like, what the hell is that? After you'll be like, ah. And like punching them with a dick or like sliding them and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot.
So, what was your favorite game this generation, Paul?
I would have to say BioShock Infinity.
Infinite.
I Infinity, whatever. I don't know. I wasn't really a huge BioShock fan, but
Hmm.
after playing this one, I started to really enjoy the game, and I thought it was fun. And I thought the ending was pretty good, and I felt like they really, you know, they learned a lot from the past games, so they really made this one really well.
Yeah. So, what aspect of it did you like about it?
I just like how they use the gameplay to tell the stories.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
kind of like the where all the cutscenes are in game instead of actual cutscenes and stuff.
yeah, it really creates immersion
Yeah.
when you're mostly in first person mode throughout the game. And I thought that was great.
All right then. So, okay, which games do you guys think is your personal game of the year then?
Game of the year.
Yeah.
Well, okay, define game of the year.
Well, like if you only have to play one game this whole year, which one would you say um, is that
Like
game?
for myself, or if I want to recommend it to anybody.
Well, let's start with yourself first, then everybody else. Yeah.
Why don't you start, Alan?
Well, okay, sure. For myself, I'd say it was Ninokuni, but then for everybody else, I'd say it's The Last of Us. The reason why I say Ninokuni is because I really like JRPGs, and there hasn't been a really good one for a long while. And Ninokuni was a traditional JRPG, which was something which I was looking for, and which I kind of miss um, developers making. And then for The Last of Us, I think it's better for everybody else because it actually shows what gaming is capable of in terms of storytelling. And yeah, the way they presented that story, I think it's better than the source materials they took it out from. Yeah, so that's just my thoughts. So,
Xenoblade is better.
well, if you have to compare Xenoblade with The Last of Us, I say The Last of
No,
Us
if I
is
have to
better.
compare Xenoblade with Nino Kuni, then I'd say Xenoblade is better.
Ninokuni looks better.
Xenoblade lasts you longer. It has a more compelling story than Nino Kuni. In my opinion, I thought Nino Kuni was slow as fuck. I was so bored with it, and also Oliver was such a dumbass, and I did not like Oliver that much.
So
Yeah.
that's you're not pure at heart. Oh.
Oh, yeah, Alan, give me some
How old are you
kindness.
guys?
Yeah, no, for me, for myself, I say is Central 4 because, it's funny and I have a jolly good time with it. For everybody else, I say GTA 5. Just because, it's a pretty long game, it's a pretty awesome game. There's a lot of epic moments inside which makes you go like, holy shit. And yeah, it's also laugh out loud funny too, like in a very snarky kind of way. Yeah. I mean, if I have to compare like which one's funnier, I'd say Saints Row 4 is more, like raunchy comedy, while GTA 5 is more sophisticated with the comedy in the way that it's subtle, but they keep it all inside the dialogue. Yeah. While Saints Row 4 is more in your face funny. Yeah. But you can't really compare Saints Row 4 with the production values of GTA 5. I mean, come on. GTA 5 have like a huge amount of budget, and it looks like they spent years and years and years polishing, crafting everything, and like making sure that each foliage or each tree like has a purpose in their place. While Saints Row 4 took the same map as Saints Row 3 and basically reskinned it a little, and that's it. So production value wise, GTA 5 blows it out of the water. In fact, Saints Row 4's waters sucks because it's just a plainer water. It doesn't even look that great anyway. And they added some kind of virus filter onto it, so it looks like it's infected with like red and greens and shit. I was like, ew, what? But yeah, they're both pretty fun. Yeah, but if you only can spend on one game that I have to say GTA 5. But for me personally, I love Saints Row 4. It's funny. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
So I guess I'm up next.
Well,
Yep.
Damn.
yeah.
Well, technically this came out 2 years ago, but apparently the Legendary Edition came out this year. Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
With all of the DLCs.
For yourself?
God, there's so many things you can do on that game.
Is that for
For
yourself
myself?
or
Yes.
for? Okay.
For myself, yes. Well, for other people too. Mostly because, well, it's like GTA. Just jump right in and you can do whatever you want.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
also for other people who, I guess, if they could mod, especially with Steam, with all the mods you can do,
You
So
reckon?
specifically,
essentially,
so specifically the PC version, not the console version.
well, yeah, yes, the PC
Yeah.
version.
Because you
That's
can't
for
mod on the
Legendary Edition.
console
Not
versions. Yeah.
no, you can't, but I still think the PC is best for Skyrim just because of the exploding chicken mod. Oh my god. Just 20 of those things can launch across from one end of Skyrim to the other. And, dear god, how many mods do I have right now? Not a lot of mods I have right now. Flying car mod. The the one where it increases the bug so that your game will essentially, it will crash more often, but you get more funny bugs.
Hmm.
There's a Pumpkinhead mod for Halloween. There's definitely a mod for Halloween too.
Yeah.
There was the mod that turned you into a villager from Animal Crossing, and it got really creepy.
Run around killing people.
Oh god, it was really,
The villagers.
yeah, it was really creepy actually. And actually, there was another mod that essentially turned you into the Cube Man from Minecraft.
Cute man.
And well, yeah, it's essentially all kinds. And out of that, it turns out there's a bunch of quests that Bethesda never got around to finishing for the release of Skyrim.
Hmm.
And the modding community actually picked it up and found out that all the dialogue and all the activation keys and script were just ready. They just needed to activate it, so they just modded everything into it. So there's actually more quests with more mods. I don't think people really like that. They just like to blow themselves up for stupid bugs.
Aren't some of the quests randomly generated inside Skyrim?
Sometimes. You occasionally run across a bounty hunter or a random NPC, but usually the quests are static. They're like in certain cities and whatnot. And eventually and if you actually go out and start looking for rumors, you could eventually start joining up different guilds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it was the Dark Brotherhood, the Assassin's Guild, but you have to start a rumor. You have to follow up a rumor. And you have to essentially kill this evil, what's her face? Some evil orphanage teacher, well, lady, I don't know, I just destroyed her. Kind of killed the kids with her too, though, so that might have been a bad idea. Oh, you're up. I'm out of things to say.
Okay. Let's see. I would have to say Kerbal Space Program. Even though it's not really a game, and even though it's incomplete, I still think
Well, what's the
it's great.
objective for it?
Kerbal Space Program, launching rockets and
Oh, God.
Yeah, you basically
I
have to
remember
build rockets.
Build rockets.
Yeah, you basically have to build rockets and launch them, and you're pretty much going to be failing most of the time, but it's a great game.
Yeah.
But every time you fail, there's like huge explosions, so it's great.
Have you ever had fun stories about that? Because I have a few myself.
But yeah, it's like my favorite game this year.
Was there any
Were you able to get this?
was there any game which surprises you this year?
Surprise?
Yeah, like you weren't expecting it.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I could say The Walking Dead. That was a pretty great game.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
Season 1 or Season 2?
Season 1. Season 2 is not.
Season 1.
Yeah, it is. Well, 400 Days is out.
That's a Season 2. That's a bridge.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, because Season 2 stars Clementine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The 400 Days was just a bridge. It's basically they just show off different characters, which will appear in Season 2. But that's it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. My surprise hits were. Damn, yeah. There's a lot though, actually, yeah. But if I have to choose, you know what? I choose two. One of them is the Stanley Parable, which I wasn't expecting, but it actually did a lot of things to story narrative, which I have never expected before. And the other one is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
Yeah, people have been talking about that. What kind of can you tell us like
Okay,
yeah.
Stanley Parable is basically about a guy working inside an office. After that, he's trying to figure out why everybody inside the office is missing. After that, when you walk around the office, you discover like all kinds of different endings, and the narration. It's basically when you do something, there will be a narration, but the narration changes to whatever you've been doing. For instance, like if the narration would say like Stanley has wondered why his co-workers aren't around. He heads to the boss's office, and if you don't go to the boss's office, he will change his tone and be like, Stanley goes to the boss's office, and you're like, nope, I'm not going to the boss's office. After you'll be like, fine, I won't do anything. Go, do your own shit. In fact, don't even play this game, and the whole game will take the whole game world away.
What?
Yeah, every place of Minecraft.
That's funny, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been wanting to play that game.
yeah.
It looks great.
No, it's like
I'll probably wait.
it's like you don't really do much, but all you can do is just like interact and like jump and click. But the whole thing is basically based on the whole game narration and stuff. And yeah, it's pretty funny. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is I don't know a single player co-op adventure game. And I was like, wait, how's a single player co-op adventure game? Then I realized, oh, right, because basically it splits your controller in half. Like, the left stick controls the younger brother, the right stick controls the older brother. And to interact, let's say, like, if you're controlling the younger brother, you use the left stick to move, and to interact, you press L1. Yeah, and for the older brother, you use the right stick, and to interact, you press R1. So basically, you must work in tandem to do shit. So basically, the whole story is basically your father's sick, and you and the younger brother need to go to a far off tree and collect its nectar, and bring it back to your father because your father's dying. So
Yeah.
so basically, you must work in tandem to basically go on to this journey and like solve puzzles and stuff. So, for example, like if you come across water, the younger brother will be afraid of water because, he saw the mother drowning in it. So, it forever scarred him for life. So basically, you must basically climb to the oldest brother's back. After both of you must swim together to cross a river or something like that. Or, for instance, like if you reach to a cliff, after that you can't reach the top of the cliff. The older brother must interact with the younger brother, push the younger brother up, so he could climb up the cliff and drag the older brother up. So basically, both your right hand and your left hand must work together because sometimes like it can screw your mind up by for you to be like, hey, maybe I should move this, but you realize that you're controlling the older brother instead of the younger brother, so you're like, fuck. Yeah, so both your hands must basically work together. It kind of the controls do set in though, but in the beginning it's kind of weird to control both of them at the same time. But yeah, and there is a PC version, but I'm not so sure how it controls though. Yeah, I've only played the PS3 version, so yeah. Yeah, so those are my surprise hits. Oh, and I also found, let's see, bam. Here's a 1 hour 15 version of Stanley Parable. It's a walkthrough. So basically it has all the endings and, the differences of it. So if you guys check it out, then, I think you'll enjoy it.
Mm.
But yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Wait, what?
your turn.
Yeah. I guess my surprise hit for this year was
Gran
GTA 5.
Turismo.
No. Fine. Yeah. Okay. Gran Turismo. I did not expect the moon buggy. I'll say. They actually have a moon buggy in Gran Turismo 6, so I was like, what the hell? You could drive on the moon, race on the moon, do whatever you want there with a stupid moon
Well-
buggy.
Well, they're running out of cars to put into the game.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
No, I was gonna say Grand Theft Auto 5
really?
because
Okay.
yeah, I did not really expect the world to be.
Because the world was gushing over 4, and they gush over every GTA since 3, so I don't understand why you wouldn't think it would be a surprise hit for you. But oh well. Actually, what didn't you like about the older GTA series? Because you didn't like the older GTA series before.
Yeah, but I think it's because the characters weren't that interesting compared to this one. The characters are actually much more funny and lighthearted in this one compared to um, 4, GTA 4, and 3.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought GTA 4's characters were interesting.
And then San Andreas, I didn't really like the characters in San Andreas.
Well, San
either.
Andreas is because mostly, like, gangster talk, that's why.
Yeah. And then 4, yeah, I didn't really like 4 because I didn't thought Nico was that good of a character
Really?
compared to the 3 main protagonists inside 5. Yeah. Yeah, but the world is much more detailed in 5, and it's a lot. Okay, the driving is a million times better than compared to 4.
I
So
like.
that's what, yeah,
Sorry.
that's what made the driving fun, especially if you drive as Franklin, because you could do slow mos while driving.
Uh,
Well, yeah, I was really surprised by it. I was really surprised by the fact that they said it was bigger than the most of the past GTA maps combined. And technically it was, but a lot of those areas were, barren in ways. So like more mountains and not really developed compared to the cityscape GTA 4.
well, I don't know. I thought Los Santos was like way detailed than Liberty City and GTA 4, and
Yeah,
I also like that inside the water they actually include a lot of ocean life too. So
yeah.
that I thought was a technological
But when they
achievement.
said it was bigger than San Andreas in the past GTA games combined, I actually expected multiple cities like what San Andreas did. But instead, it was just one giant city and one giant wilderness.
Plus, San Andreas was basically just a couple buildings and a couple of different houses, and that's
I
it.
build up on that type of concept. Instead, they just have one giant sprawl and one giant wilderness with multiple mountains.
Well, they did flesh out the city uh,
Yeah,
and GTA 5 though, so that's what made it interesting.
but I actually like what San Andreas did too, where each different city has its own type of unique look to it. But this was just one giant, um,
City,
yeah, with its own look.
yeah. Well, there's a couple things like San Andreas where like just a couple of small towns and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's not all too bad, but
Well, yeah. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised by GTA 5.
uh,
Okay. Speaking of which, we just talked about Gran Turismo 6, right? Yeah. Well, Gran Turismo 6 has microtransactions in it, and I was wondering what you guys felt about that. Because in Gran Turismo 6, you can actually buy some of the cars from the game for to race in game, and one of the most expensive cars you could get costs $120 in real life. Is the Jaguar
What's happening?
transactions in games in general, actually.
What?
Alan, you just sort of dropped off there
Yeah,
for a
you
second.
kind of dropped off.
Oh,
So repeat that question again.
yeah. What do you guys think about microtransactions in games?
It's a hit and miss for me, but that's only because I play like big. Well, that's because I like to play big games that include like empires and giant businesses and things like that.
Yeah. But how about the way that they're starting to do it this generation? Well, new releases these days. Like in Forza 5, there's actually a lot of microtransactions you have to do inside. And for Gran Turismo 5, you actually have to spend real more money on a lot of cars that come out. I don't know how I feel about it. For a $60 game, I expect most of the stuff to get already built into it. That wasn't the case with Gran Turismo. They actually did it kind of right, but I think the pricing is
You're
kind of
dropping, Alan.
What are we dropping?
Uh, you're like going loud and soft and loud and soft. And just stick close to the mic.
Whatever, man. Alright. Yeah. Microtransactions, thoughts, go.
Well, I think microtransactions are good and bad. I think it's good if it's good for people. So games with microtransactions should be how should I put this? So there should be two ways of doing it. There should be for people who want to spend lots of time and play the games, then they could do that. But for people who don't have a lot of time, they should be able to spend more money on the game and to excel at it.
So,
But
for example, like in an RPG, if you want to level up quickly, you can actually pay to level up.
yeah, but I don't think that's really a good idea for multiplayer. But for single player experiences, I think that would enhance the experience.
Well, this is just my opinion. I just think that if you're paying $60 for it, you shouldn't be forced to pay additional money to get the full experience of the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you're gonna be paying full price, then you shouldn't
Then,
have to pay more.
yeah. But for microtransactions, it seems that a lot of developers are doing that, where they're just making a half-baked game and then putting the rest as DLC.
I mean, you could always do it like, say, Eve, although that is technically an online game.
As what?
Eve Online, that big spaceship online game.
So instead of relying on microtransactions, do you rely on a subscription service? Where
No, inside Eve, well, yeah, it's a subscription service, yes, but inside Eve, you can actually buy parts and whatnot. And not only that, there's actually the economy inside that game is so massive that you could actually translate it into real monetary form.
Yeah. Are the stuff they're selling, are they player-made products or are they made by the developers? Like the Diablo 3 auction house, because most of
No, it's a little bit of both. Mostly the player. There's a strict hands-off economy from the developer, on the developer side.
Yeah.
It's just things like gifts or trophies or whatnot that you could sell. And by trophies, I mean like really expensive battleships. And they can, the only thing that the developers really do is they keep an eye on the economy and make sure it doesn't go bust. And make sure people don't tamper with it. That's the only thing they really do. Otherwise, people spent literally thousands of dollars on their own battleship.
Yeah.
And it could work like that, which is actually more of a study than a game, actually, now that I think about it. I mean, there's even corporate espionage in that game, and it's awful. But I guess for something like that, which revolves around that economy very heavily, and your time is your money in that game, I guess it's okay. It's actually quite interesting. But for things like Diablo or like, as you said, developers making half-baked games and then forcing people to pay for more.
Well, there
No,
were DLC for additional content.
Yeah. Stuff like that, no, that's not good. Especially since games are getting more and more expensive nowadays.
I get it why they do it because it costs a lot to make a game, but yeah, I don't think the way they're doing it is the way to go though.
I mean, on say the indie side of the picture, they're making fairly cheap games.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say cheap. It still costs money, but they're making games that cost far less than these mega blockbuster hits,
Hmm.
and they're still raking in all kinds of money. And yet, even though the game is simplistic and whatnot, people like Paul and myself, if you guys too, still play it all the time, like The Stanley Parable,
Mm-hmm.
or Faster Than Light, or Don't Starve.
Yeah.
And heck, they could actually, in fact, sometimes they're even more prettier than most of these games too.
Yeah, but I think that's because smaller developers are willing to take more risks compared to the bigger ones.
True.
Yeah.
But they do exactly what they do all the right stuff. That's what I see more often.
Mm.
I mean, there are risks that you should take, and that's great of you.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are those risks that are really stupid and nobody does it for a reason.
Yeah. But what my point is I just think that if you're paying $60 for a game, you shouldn't be forced to pay additional money um, to buy features that were supposed to be in the game in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can you give an example of which game does that?
Well, like a lot of shooters. Well, yeah, I just said Gran Turismo and Forza had had a bunch of DLC content just like that.
Yeah, but
For
they're optional though.
yeah, they're optional, but
The thing is, you can still get those cars as long as you grind to get those credits though.
um, and in Gran Turismo you can't do that for select cars too. Like the new Jaguar XLJ 2013 version.
You can't? I thought they said it was optional.
No, from what I've read, it wasn't optional actually.
Yeah, it was optional.
I'm looking.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about it on this topic, right?
Microtransactions, I don't mind. They're basically like DLCs. I
Yeah.
don't. If they're done well, then I don't mind. If they're done in the point where it frustrates you, so it forces you to pay, then I do mind.
So essentially, don't mess up making the game.
So no, don't make me frustrated. So I have to look up a DLC in order to relieve that frustration. Yeah, but but then I haven't played that many games with microtransactions though. Like I play Warframe, that's free to play, and that has microtransactions, but it's a free game, so I can
Yeah.
see why. I can see why they want you to spend on microtransactions, but I don't mind it.
Well, we're just starting out on this type of system.
Yeah, but with something where it's like what was it? Actually, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of micro, what do you guys think about micro consoles? These $100 Android gaming consoles.
I have not touched one, so I can't say. But the thing is, I haven't seen any real good advertising or any real good, how should I put it, any real good push for people to buy it or invest in it.
I haven't seen anything real on it.
Yeah, that too. So I would say that's a pretty damn bad way to convince people to like invest in your games.
Well, I've seen the Ouya, but from what I've seen, it's like people who play mobile games, they don't want to play it on the big screen
Hmm.
because they just want to spend 5 minutes playing at the bus stop and voila, done. But if you port those mobile games to the couch, sure, you get a bigger TV experience, but now they just don't feel as good anymore because they're meant for 5 minute play. While when you do couch play, it's meant for like 1 hour, 2 hour, maybe like 5 hour plus experiences.
Hmm.
You know,
And consoles such as the PS3, Xbox are not that much more expensive than what the micro consoles are selling for, huh?
yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Essentially,
actually, no. Like Ouya's $100 right now.
Yeah, and you could get a PS3 for $199. So
Yeah, but then
maybe that's why they're
so
taking off. But do you guys think that they have a chance of actually making a dent in the marketplace, though?
um,
it's just not a platformer, I guess.
It's kind of hard to say, especially with who they're targeting.
Hmm.
Because the way Brian explained it to me, just explained it, that means they're not just competing against like big gaming consoles like PlayStation 4, Sony, or Nintendo, Wii U, and Xbox 360. They're also competing with the PC, and then they're also competing with like handheld games from Nintendo and Sony, and also phone games, like app games.
Yeah.
So they're not competing in one field, so
They're
to say. They're
competing with
competing
everybody. They're trying to
yeah, and,
have a slice of pie and eat a whole too.
Hmm.
yeah, and they're being muscled out real bad then.
Yeah. Well, it's not like they're being muscled out. It's like the stuff which you play on your phone can also be played on like the Ouya, which can also be played on the PS4 or the PS3 or whatever. But what I'm saying is that, those two audiences are two very different audiences. Like when you play your iPhone game, you don't want to play it on the big screen just because it's meant for 5 minute play. Then bus is here, okay, let's go. But when you play a 5 minute game sitting down on a couch, you feel cheated because it's like, hey, wait a minute, it's like I want a bigger experience than on a big screen TV. Then why the hell am I playing this 5 minute game on a big screen TV when I could play on the go already?
Hmm. So do you think the console
They
has the
want more immersive experience when you're sitting down on a couch than when you're waiting at a bus stop. Because at a bus stop, you're just, passing time. But when you're sitting down on a couch, you're actually dedicated and you actually have the time to actually want something to experience.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
do you think a console like the PS Vita TV will actually help in that department? Because it has both the long games that were available on the PS1 and also the short games that are available on like iPhones and stuff.
Well, which market are you talking about?
The PS Vita TV, will that actually take off? If, like what you said, like people want to play long games on their at home and they want to play short games when they're outside. So if you have a PS Vita TV, will that actually uh, will that be the micro console to get then?
No,
If I want to say.
because PS
Oh,
Vita has a stigma of having no games, which is entirely wrong. But the way we Sony marketed it, everybody still thinks that it has no games.
Yeah, but that's
And
because
when they see the PS Vita TV, they're like, so why will I play a console which has no games on my TV?
you get the whole PlayStation 1 and PSP back catalog.
Yeah, but you can also get
yeah,
that
I
on the
really
PS.
want to.
Yeah, but you can also get it with the PS3. I don't know. I just think it's pretty stupid. I mean, sure, okay, you can play Persona 4 Golden, you can play Muramasa, but like for other games like which requires a touchscreen, you can never play Killzone Mercenary on the PS Vita TV, and that's one of the best looking games on the Vita. You can never play Tearaway, you can never play Gravity Rush. It's because those games requires a touchpad.
Hmm. But then do you think developers will start targeting PS Vita TV in order to get access to both the PS Vita TV market and the PS Vita market?
No. Developers will be targeting the PS4. Then anybody who has a Vita will be able to play the PS4 games on the PS Vita. So why the hell would they want to develop for the PS Vita to begin with? When they can
Hmm.
just develop for the PS4 and they can be played on both systems.
I could see that.
I feel that,
It's sad.
yeah, I know, I feel that, since they released the PS4, Vita development will die down a lot because, why the hell would we want to develop for handhelds when we could develop for one console and be played on both? Like, I think it's awesome that I could play Assassin's Creed or like Battlefield 4 or Lego Marvel superheroes, like when I'm in bed or when I'm outside. But I feel that because of that, if I want to make a Vita version, it'll be added development cost, and I don't want that. If I was a developer, that is. If I was a developer, I wouldn't want an added development cost just to make a Vita version, which will be inferior graphically to the PS4 version. I mean,
Hmm.
sure, I could make it run at 30 frames per second at lower resolution, but it'll look crappier. So why the hell would I want to do that when I could develop it for just the PS4 and let the PS4 just remote play it by itself?
I'm all sad now.
Right.
Yeah. Now 3DS, however, I don't think many developers are going to even consider developing 3DS right now.
Well,
The only developers working on the 3DS right now are the Japanese developers because that's where they fled to. Because, last gen was so expensive for them that they moved to handhelds.
do you think because of what you said, the PS Vita will be the go-to platform? Well, the go-to platform for handheld gaming then?
No, I think the PS Vita will become the pretty accessory sitting right next to the PS4.
Yeah, I said because it can play PS4 and PS Vita games, plus all the back catalog of Sony's other stuff.
I think the PS Vita might become an indie console because lots of indie games are coming
Yeah.
to the PS Vita.
But what I meant is, will the PS Vita just be used? Will it be the better handheld compared to the 3DS then, in that route then? Because they could play PS4 games and also PS Vita games, plus Sony's back catalog of their old platforms.
Yeah, but not many people know that.
Yeah, most people want like Nintendo games when they
Yeah.
want to do handheld.
Yeah. It's like when people think of handheld, they think of Nintendo because Nintendo dominated that market for ages.
They want
This-
Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they want Pokemon, they want Monster Hunter, they want all the crazy JRPGs. They want
Is there any
uh,
hope
Wait, any hope for what?
for Vita?
Yeah, there is. PS4. It's both a blessing and a curse. It's a
Because
blessing.
you can play PS4 games, you can play Vita games, you can also play Sony's back catalog of games. So anyway, you get lots of games to play. So I'm just wondering whether that will help it in terms of wouldn't that give it more games than compared to the 3DS then, or any other micro console that's being made?
That means if I got a PS4 and a PS Vita and I got Persona 5, I can play the Persona 5 on my PS Vita.
Yeah.
Technically, it's for PS4.
Yeah, but oh yeah, yeah, Persona 5 is not for PS4, it's for PS3.
Actually, yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
really?
with plus with Gaikai coming out, that should really help the PS4 and the PS Vita then, wouldn't it? Because Gaikai will allow PS3 compatibility with the PS4 then.
Yeah.
So, crap. I haven't invested in a console since the PS2, and now I'm really thinking about it.
Well, I thought you don't like the current gen stuff, Eric.
Me?
Yeah.
Ugh. No, there was a very, very few games I liked in the PS3 era.
Catherine's pretty
But
fun.
in this one, there are a couple I'm really looking at. I'm staring at it, and I'm just, damn it.
Like what?
For PS4 and PS Vita bundle to drop in price then.
Watch Dogs,
Oh.
Persona. I would love to play Persona 5, but I don't want to invest in a PS3 if I find out that I'm going to want to get a PS4 later.
Yeah.
Well, it's not backwards compatible. Actually, wait until we see Gaikai first because we haven't seen anything from Gaikai about it. Yeah.
And then there's actually most of the games are on the Vita. If I think about it.
What
Okay,
games are on?
like Muramasa, there's Persona 4 the Golden, there's Gravity Rush, there's like games like huh?
Gravity Rush looks like a really fun game.
Yeah. And there's games coming out for like Tokiden and Final Fantasy X HD.
Actually, whatever happened to that other Final Fantasy game for the Vita? Final Fantasy 15.
Type 0?
Yeah, Type 0.
There was for the PSP, but they never localized it to the West.
So it's never coming.
Well, I think they're porting it to the iPhone, and they're porting the iPhone version to the West, but I'm not sure.
I believe Brian told me about this, and I got really mad. I might have actually like suppressed a rage and forgot.
No, one thing which I like about the Vita is that it has all the Altair series on it. Altair series.
It doesn't have that other one.
No, okay, fine. It doesn't have the last
Each
gen
of-
stuff, but it has all the PS3 Altair series.
Are they all 3 PS3 games?
Yeah, Altair Rorona, Altair Totori, Altair Miruru,
I
and
never
they
saw on there. Right, Verona was released in Japan. It wasn't released in the States, time, was it?
No, they announced next year release date for it.
Oh,
Yeah, so Rorona's coming out next year, and they're working on Ayesha right now for the Vita.
interesting.
Yeah, so if you like potion making and anime mo crap, just yeah, sure.
So I have a question.
What?
All right. So do you think because of the PlayStation 4 just came out, do you think we'll start seeing more imported games from Japan, like digital ones?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
I think Japan has moved on to mobile, and they're never looking back to the console
Yeah.
space.
Really?
Yes, I mean, as much as I love Yakuza, that series, I don't, because the English producer left, I don't think they'll ever release another Yakuza game on a PS4 unless something changes.
Does that bring a tear to your eye, Brian? I'll be honest.
I'm kind of disappointed, but this is Sega which we're talking about. So,
Well, the problem with Japanese development is that video game development has gotten so expensive that they decided to go wholly into mobile.
yeah.
Because development for mobile games is a lot cheaper, and the return on investment is a lot higher compared to the console games.
Yeah.
Could we see ports from mobile to console?
Yeah.
Well, the Vita's basically has
That's
the
what-
internals of.
That's what they're doing right now for the Vita stuff. Is that they're porting some of the mobile stuff to the Vita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because of the Vita's low install base, there isn't a lot of ports for it.
Yeah. I mean, they put Fruit Ninja in like
Angry Birds.
Angry Birds and all that shit. Yeah.
And
Tired of
Minecraft.
Angry Birds and Fruit Ninja can kiss the
and
fat
Jet-
part of my ass.
And Jetpack Joyride and all that stuff. Cause
It's there.
what?
It's there on the Vita.
Yeah, it's there, but I mean, okay, sure, they're good time fillers for in between games.
Yeah, but if I'm playing the Vita, I don't want to play games like that though. That's the problem.
I don't. No, I like having the option to play games.
Yeah, I like having the option, but I would rather prefer having like Final Fantasy 10 on there or something, or maybe an open world game like GTA or something.
I know. I personally don't think they will develop any more for the Vita now that the PS4 is out.
They're just developed for the PS4. I'll probably have to buy a PS4 and remote play it.
Probably, yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
So what do you mean buy PS4? Doesn't Brian have one?
Yeah.
Yeah, just use mine.
Yeah. Well, I could do that.
You can use different accounts anyway, so yeah. But there's not a lot of PS4 games at the moment. But in time. Yeah. The one thing which I didn't like, the one thing which I liked about the Vita was that back during the launch period, the backwards compatibility stuff saved it, in the sense that there was actually games to play, if you actually look at the back catalog.
Yeah, there were no game drops in the beginning because you could just play your PlayStation 3 game.
If there wasn't that much new Vita games, so I can actually go back to the PSP games, which I missed out, actually play those.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the PS1 games either, because PS Vita can play PS1, PS Vita, and PSP games. I wish it could play PS2 games, but they did port like Metal Gear Solid and Persona on there, so I was like, that's interesting. But I kind of wish that they did port San Andreas though, but anyway, Rockstar's slow at doing shit.
Speaking of which, they're making an iOS version for San Andreas.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
No.
Are you gonna get it, Brian?
Maybe. San Andreas was my favorite game, but I hated the controls when I played GTA 3 though. When I bought GTA 3 on the iOS, I hated the controls for it.
I wish
I thought it was alright.
GTA 3 and San Andreas though.
I don't like.
Same internals.
I don't like the touch controls for GTA.
Well, if all you have is an iPhone and you're just out.
Okay, if all I have is an iPhone, and I have no other consoles, then I probably might just suck it up and just play that. Yeah.
Mm.
But luckily I have other options.
Yes, Brian, you do.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
All right. So now that we have current generation, do you think it'll be easier to get to export games from Japan to America?
I hope so.
So you could be like, okay, some
Well,
Japanese developer could be like,
right now, it's interesting because both the Xbox One and the PS4 are region free.
Yeah.
In this gen.
Oh, that's sweet.
Last gen, it was just the PS3. Now this gen is both the Xbox One and the PS4.
So even if they aren't gonna export it, you can still buy off PlayAsia or something.
Or they could just do it digitally. They could
Yeah.
just put it on.
Or they could just put it on digital, yeah.
Hopefully, but Japanese development has moved on to mobile, so we aren't seeing a lot of console games.
You know.
Well, you make it sound like they're never gonna come back.
No, well, you know, when you make an investment inside mobile development, you're not going to make another investment inside console development, right? Because
No, here's the thing though. I doubt we'll ever see any more like vision novels or those eroji crap.
in the West.
In the West. I mean.
Oh God, you mean those terrible, terrible porno games?
Yeah. Like, because a lot of those have moved to the mobile space.
All of those moved to the computer. Oh my God.
Yeah. But you know, I think we can expect to see more Japanese development than last gen on
On PS4?
On PS4, yeah.
Even though the development costs are higher?
It's easier to develop for it now though.
I mean, it's easier to develop, but
that hasn't stopped Gus from making like compile hearts and all that shit.
Well, you know, Gus and people like NIS make low-budget games that are perfect for exporting because it's easy for them to recoup their costs. But I'm saying, how about people like Capcom and Sega who make big, huge budget games? I don't think they're going to make big, huge budget games and port them to the West as frequent as they did back in the PS2 days, because HD development cost is a hell lot higher than what it was back in the PS2 days.
Yeah.
And the return on their investment, the chances of them returning recuperating their loss on their development is not as high as it was.
The thing is, I don't think that they're gonna make as much new franchises. They're still gonna keep with like Street Fighter, Resident Evil.
All the old franchises. Yeah. I'm talking about new IP and stuff. I don't think we'll see a lot of that on PS4 though.
They're making Deep Down.
Yeah, but that's a Sony funded project.
Huh. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
How's the indie development and smaller development in Japan?
They're all targeting mobile.
Indie development? There's hardly any indie development in Japan.
Well, there are, but they're mostly targeting mobile.
No, there's hardly any indie development like in the West. Like in the West, you could grab 5 friends.
Yeah, that's because indie development is not seen as it's still not as viable in Japan compared to the West, because in the West we actually have all the resources to actually make games a lot easier. Plus, we also have third-party software like
Unity.
like Unity and all the other
Game Maker and all that shit
stuff to actually help. Japan,
like Game Salad, yeah. But Japan,
they don't have that yet.
They don't have that. Yeah.
And the culture of breaking out on your own and forming your own small studio and making games is still not there.
No, that's still an American thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're still very one-track minded of like listen to your elders, do what they tell you, and like don't get into trouble, that kind of shit.
Big corporation for life,
Yeah, but big corporations are,
Friends.
not doing so well these days.
Yeah, not doing so well these days.
What about other countries like Korea or China?
God, don't talk to.
No, Korea and China, they're moving towards online. That's why you see a lot of online MMOs.
Well, I think Korea actually has the advantage of developing because for developing for mobile and
a lot of games in China and Korea are all free to play or online MMOs or microtransactions.
Well, China doesn't have a culture of playing their games on consoles though, because consoles weren't banned since 2000.
China has a culture of pirating everything.
The one thing about the Korean culture of video gaming though is that when you build video games and such,
You
it's
build to monetize.
yeah, and it's the how to put this. In Korea, if you're an artist of any sort, you're either a video game developer or you're a fine artist. There's nothing in between because everything is so monetized and there is no way out of that big black hole known as online gaming in Korea.
Yeah.
And in fact, many of them, what they do is they garner necessary skills and then they go to America.
Yeah. But I think that Korea actually has the talent to make pretty awesome games for both the console space and the handheld space because of their PC gaming culture.
The problem is though, in Korea there's laws set up for online gaming only, and not many gaming company exists outside of the online gaming. And once you get in,
they view gaming as like gambling. Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, that's what they got. That's why Korea has professional video gaming pro gamers.
Yeah.
But they don't have any companies dedicated to making console games because, well, essentially Sony dominates all of Korea.
Yeah.
But I think that's because in the past, console gaming, the architecture is totally different from PC architecture. But now that the Xbox One and the PS4 have the same architecture as PC, shouldn't it be a lot easier for them to port their PC games onto the console space now?
Sure.
The thing is, you're gonna have to find an audience outside of Korea, and to be honest, not even Japanese want to touch Korean online games.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, for example, like we just talked about earlier, Gunbound. You know about it, I know about it, but then again, you and I are Asian. What about Paul? Paul, do you know Gunbound?
No. I don't really know it.
It's the Korean gaming in American culture anyways. It's like throwing a rock at a giant. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And out of that, you have to find a company that's actually willing to like invest in making a game for the console, and then hoping to God Microsoft doesn't fart in their general direction and blow them out to sea.
Well, also, will the gaming audience in Korea, will they want to transition from PC to consoles? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
You need to. I've actually seen the Sony conventions in Korea on news and whatnot. It's downright pathetic. They need to get models to like essentially browbeat these poor video game nerds to like buy their products.
They need booth bays and stuff.
Yeah, they need it hardcore. It's a necessity. And even those who buy it, they don't really get it because most of the games come from Japan and they don't want to talk about Japan, period. And any games from America is essentially culture shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is there any hope for Eastern or Asian game development?
There is, but
Mostly in Japan, and Korea will always stick with online unless Blizzard takes over.
yeah, I'm expecting Asia to move more towards mobile and online spaces than console spaces, because usually in Asia, that's what they're viewed as. You know, like consoles are more viewed as more as a luxury item than more as a household commodity.
And you're always going to need a PC for school.
Yeah.
Yep.
For school, right?
Yeah, you're always going to need a cell phone. You're always going to need a PC. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So those two things are already ready-made for the Asian market already. Yeah.
I mean, I do recall one thing though about handheld, anyways. It's
Handheld is huge in Asia too, actually. Yeah.
But that's because there's a huge public transport culture in Asia compared to
America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's why I think it's also moving towards mobile because because face it, remember when we go back to Singapore, how many kids actually play a 3DS or Vita?
No, most people are playing on their iPads and iPhones.
Yeah, they're playing on their iPads and iPhones.
Actually, for the 3DS and Nintendo, besides Japan, Korea is actually really, really into the Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah.
But that's probably because the transportation system is set up just like Japan's.
Yeah.
I was there one time with my DS and Animal Crossing, and that was a huge mistake. You are from America? Teach me English! It was so bad. And I couldn't play it until I left the country because they wouldn't leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes,
What
culture and
what
nature.
about what's your opinions on European game developers?
They're pretty cool. I don't mind them.
Do you
Well,
think the games they make are more artistic compared to American games?
No, European always has that weird type of art style or some kind of weird presentation style that doesn't usually sit well with me. I'm
really?
not sure. Yeah, something like, for example, Witcher. Witcher has that weird art style and that weird story that I couldn't really get into.
I got
And
into
then
Witcher. I just wish my PC could run it back in the day.
it's the same thing with Metro. It was the same thing with uh, I forgot. Anyway, yeah. I think European, they're talented. They can make good games, but I don't think they could tell good stories. So unless you're from the UK, then that's a wholly different ballpark. Because I think that's because they're culturally similar to America. But if you're talking about Eastern European stuff, like for stuff from Poland, stuff from Russia, yeah.
So
That,
essentially, if it's not like us, then we must kill them.
no, it's just that. Okay, I'll say this: Quantic Dream Games has that weird presentation style, but I think it's just because David Cage can't write scripts or shit.
You're so harsh.
And then, like I said, Witcher and stuff like Metro Last Light, and even the Killzone series is kind of weird in a certain way.
Really? I don't
Yeah.
mind it.
I don't know. What the hell is that?
What the hell's what?
Some rubbing noise.
Huh.
Oh, I thought it was like a dog panting at someone's screen.
Okay.
I think European games, they're technically competent, but I don't think their art style and their storytelling is. Well, that's because they're different, and I couldn't really get into it. So yeah.
Really?
Actually,
I find European sense of humor and style to be really cheesy.
is
Weird.
this like Eastern European humor? Because,
What? No, like Stuart Little cheesy.
oh god. Well, actually, I have played a bit of Metro Last Light and your first Metro, and there's no humor in it,
Yeah.
for obvious reasons.
But
But,
I find some of the presentation and some of the dialogue weird.
Oh,
no, it just feels like a really depressing post-apocalyptic, or essentially that's what it is.
Hmm.
No, the presentation wasn't really weird because I think it was based off a book. Yeah, it was based off a book. Actually, you find that book everywhere in the game, now that I think about it.
I played The Witcher. I thought The Witcher was actually quite good, actually. I liked The Witcher. But, I don't know, you don't like it because what? They deal with racism and shit?
No, I don't mind games that deal with racism. I just couldn't really get into the story and really get into the character.
He was not invested enough.
Yeah.
They can play it again.
I don't know, it has that weird Europeanness to it, like David Cage games.
Is it more so than usual? Because, I don't know, I think
Cause,
I
I don't
always
know,
thought, I thought Metro was actually okay.
yeah, I thought David Cage's games are alright too, actually.
Yeah, they're all right, but they always feel like I said they're trying to do something they're not, and that kind of just throws me off. I don't know. That's just how I feel, and I feel weird.
It makes him uncomfortable talking about talking about European games.
Why? Because secretly I want to love them.
Do you?
No.
Mm.
Are you sure?
Hmm. Next topic I have is about Nintendo. You guys want to talk about that?
Sure, why not? What did they
Okay.
do this time?
Okay. Okay, so Nintendo hasn't been doing that well these days with the Wii U, and the founder of Naughty Dog said that Nintendo games are kind of a world treasure, and they should be. And it's a shame that we can't play Nintendo games on the consoles we want to play them on. What are your thoughts about that? Are they actually a cultural treasure?
You mean Mario and Zelda? Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
should they be available on other platforms other than Nintendo platforms?
I don't know. Try to imagine playing Mario on a PS3 controller.
I played it.
On a PS3 controller?
Uh
How did it feel?
huh. No, okay. Wait, I never told you the first time when oh wait, I wonder if I should say this or not because this is gonna be on YouTube. You know what? I'll tell. I'll say it off screen. After the
Thing.
yeah thing. But yeah,
It felt weird.
yeah. No, I was. It felt different actually. Yeah. I was like, holy shit! It's like what? But yeah,
This is suspicious already, Brian. You might wanna.
yeah. It was interesting.
Anyways, moving on.
Let's just say that it was interesting.
A bad interesting or a good interesting?
Huh?
A bad interesting.
Different kind of interesting, not good or bad.
Just
Yeah,
foreign, right?
not too foreign, but you know.
Like European weird.
No.
Alan, you and European games. What have they ever done to you?
Yeah. What have Rayman Legends or Rayman Origins ever done to you?
Okay, Rayman Legends and Rayman Origins actually have that European weirdness to it.
What does Assassin's Creed do to you, huh? They're
Okay,
European
Assassin's
games.
Creed doesn't, which is kind of weird, but I think that's because I think that's a globalized development.
And what? You don't like globalized developments?
I don't mind globalized. Okay, I actually like globalized development. I'm just saying if it's made exclusively in Europe, that has that weird presentation style to it, which I can't really get into. It's
Little
kind
Big
of
Planet?
like it's kind of like Asterix, that stupid Viking comic book or whatever.
Oh, Asterix and
Yeah, whatever. This Viking comic book that has that European weirdness to it too. But I think that's because it's Europe in general, and Europe in general is weird.
oh, Asterix
Or
and
your
Obelix.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
yeah, I don't mind it, but it has that European weirdness to it, which I can't really get into.
Smurfs is made by Europe.
That has that European weirdness to it too.
You make it sound like Europe in general, like the continent of Europe did something wrong to you.
They didn't do anything wrong. They just
You make,
it's like for somehow some Americans feel about Japanese games. They're kind of weird to them.
Tintin's Belgium.
that's a cultural thing, though, isn't it?
Huh?
That's a
Yeah,
cultural thing,
it's
though.
a
Isn't
cultural
it?
thing.
Yeah,
So you were culturally inept in Europe. Okay.
yeah. Okay, fine. Well, let's agree on that.
You just trying to hide something, Brian?
Me?
No.
What am I trying to hide? I actually like Europe.
Oh no, Alan. I meant Alan.
Oh.
They clearly have an Anglophile
Yeah, right.
deep down inside.
For me? Technically, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Do you think Nintendo should actually put their games to other consoles in? Personally, I don't think they should because I think Nintendo's uniqueness is actually the fact that they make their games on their own hardware. And instead of a technology company, I see Nintendo as a toy company where they make toys instead of lifestyle boxes. What do you guys?
Actually, I got a question before we continue with this question. If Nintendo was to, like, say, I don't know, import like Mario, Zelda, like core Nintendo games, wouldn't they lose money?
They'll earn money in the short run because the iPhone sales alone will be a lot, but they'll lose the licensing fees from third-party developers developing for their consoles. But they aren't earning a lot of that currently at the moment. Anyway,
Would they also lose control?
they'll lose control of the platforms they develop on. Yes.
Yeah, then I can see why Nintendo would not want to port it or anything like that.
Because they actually earn a lot of money from third-party licenses to develop on their console, and they actually like to have actually control of their developing environment for the place where they develop their games on.
So
So
essentially,
what you're saying is they might end up like Sega or something if they port it out or something, different
Everybody's
console.
looking for Nintendo to go the second route, and I'm saying that that's not a good idea. Because I think Nintendo's strength is the uniqueness of their hardware and the uniqueness of their software. And if you take away the hardware, then they'll have to dedicate more resources on learning new hardware compared to just developing their own hardware.
so no, essentially.
I don't.
Well,
I think Nintendo's strength is not hardware though.
it's not hardware. Their um, it's their software. But because of the technology,
Alan, you're breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up, Alan.
is the PS4 on, Brian?
No,
Ah,
I said no. PS4 is not on.
This is entertaining, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that Nintendo's strength is their software, and their software is good because they only have to make for one hardware platform.
Kind of.
But
But I don't think that's Nintendo's. That's what's stopping Nintendo from licensing out their games to other platforms, though.
no, I think the reason why they don't want to license out their games is because if they do license out their games, they lose control of the hardware, then they'll have to
You're breaking
Oh,
up, Alan.
Brian, can you hear me?
how the hell is you gotta talk?
Don't worry, Alan, we still love you.
Yeah. I think the strength of Nintendo is Miyamoto,
Oh, that insane bastard?
and
Yeah.
anything he says, they all listen to him.
So if he,
Don't they just let him do whatever he wants now that I think about it? Because all his gaming idea comes from, like, everyday life things.
Yeah. No,
He's a very strange man.
I think Nintendo is doesn't want to lose the third party licensees, and also they don't want to develop for other platforms because they never had developed for other platforms.
they never have to.
Yeah, they never had to. And if you tell them to develop for other platforms, they freak out because they've never done that before.
So essentially, they know their strengths and they stick to
And
it.
they think that if they develop for other platforms, it might lower the quality of their games because they don't know like how to code for it or something.
What if they went the Gaikai route and
They don't have that tech.
they could buy that tech.
They don't want to buy that tech because they don't know how.
I mean, I'm pretty sure on live is for sale.
On live is bought by somebody else. No,
Yeah, but I'm just saying that Nintendo has the ability to develop that tech. And if they develop that tech, all they have to do is develop for that cloud-based platform, which can then be streamed to every platform on Earth.
I don't know. They don't understand it, so I don't think they want to buy it or
They
get
don't
to it.
really understand it.
Yeah, no, Nintendo's not a technological company. They don't understand tech.
Yeah, they're a toy company.
Yeah, they just buy off the shelf stuff. Yeah. But they're highly creative and they have lots of unique ideas. But the thing is that they're not a hardware maker to ever begin with, which is really like yeah.
What can they do to help out this current situation? Should they just stick it out with the Wii U?
In my own personal opinion, I think get rid of that second screen controller.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean just use the Pro controller and that's it. And yeah, the Black Pro controller. Because
So
that that's one of the things that is stopping third parties on developing for it is because the controller is too different, and they're like, well, we have to develop for PS4, Xbox One, and Wii U, and with that Wii U controller, it's like what? Yeah. And second, I think they need to figure out a way to make their components more PC-like, because right now their components are very customized, just for their own thing. So it's hard for like indie developers to develop for it because it's not PC based. While Xbox One and PS4 are PC based. Wait, what are you about to say, Paul?
Oh, I was gonna say, do you think Nintendo made a mistake this generation with things like 3D and the second controller?
I think so.
The 3D they actually fixed itself because that was optional to begin with. The controller,
but they still,
on the other hand, is integrated into the system, so that might be harder to switch around. Or it might not be if they just, axe it out and just give everybody a pro controller.
I could argue that the 3D was like that too, because you need to dedicate processing power to render the stuff in 3D, though.
Well, you can turn it off, and therefore turn off that processing power and use it on other stuff.
Yeah, but all games are required to be playable in 3D, though.
Not necessarily.
Well, most games use it, so it's still some dedicated.
I want to say all games require to be playable and use it. Like Pokemon, for instance. Half of Pokemon doesn't even show up in 3D.
Yeah, but there's still 3D stuff in there, though.
Only for battles, but like when you're like running down like certain scenes and stuff, they don't even show it at all.
No, but what I'm saying is, processing power is still used to power 3D in all 3DS games.
Yeah.
Which could be used to make their games better.
Yeah, if they disable the 3D. Some games. Some games do that though. Like some games just disable the 3D just to make it run better, and Nintendo never tell them to actually make it playable in 3D.
But therefore, what I'm saying is the 3D and the second screen on the Wii U is a mistake Nintendo made.
Yeah, but the 3D itself is easy to fix, and that's just the Wii U. I'm not sure how.
The 3D was a mistake.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
The 3D was a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they just saw Avatar and they'd be like, "Hey, we can do that." the world was 3D, so we can do that.
Oh yeah.
And then they realized what they got themselves into.
Then they realized, oh shit, people actually complain about Ice Train and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. It was onto the 3D craze too.
Yes, so.
Like everybody was at the time.
Yeah, it was like songs like 3D, 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 3D. You have world in 3D, believe.
So,
I don't know.
do you think Nintendo could make games that doesn't use the screen controller, or do you think they can make a newer console that improves the screen controller?
I personally don't think they need to make improve the I mean, I think current gen graphics is fine, but I think they need to go to a more standardized controller than either that or go back to motion gaming.
Yeah, I think they should focus on motion gaming.
Either they go more standardized controllers or they go back to motion gaming, because that's what a lot of people remember Nintendo for, motion gaming.
No, they're the one who pioneered it.
Yeah, if they actually go back and actually improve and make it more, because people who still own a Wii U, some games actually force them to still use a Wiimote. Well, what if you go back to the drawing board and made Wiimote 2.0 for anybody?
Like the Wii 2 controller.
Yeah, like a Wii 2 controller.
And create the Wii 2 instead. Like people understand what the Wii 2 will be if they actually do that instead of the Wii U.
Yeah.
Nobody understands what the hell the Wii U is.
A lot of people thought Wii U was an add-on to the Wii, so people were like, "What? Not buying that."
Yeah. I was about to ask that. It wasn't like didn't stores have to like specify that a Wii U is different from a Wii?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Nintendo.
Yeah. They'll live, but
They always live.
yeah.
Like that. They're like that uncle that never dies.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really interested in the Wii U, but the only game which I want there is X. But other than that, everything else is like, same old Mario. Oh yeah, and they need to stop milking Mario. And yeah,
What?
Super Mario
oh,
3D
But
World. Oh,
they've been releasing too many Mario games in the past couple of years.
Ugh,
Like
Hmm.
last year,
my
they
Nick.
released New Super Mario Bros. U. This year, they released Super Mario 3D World. And after next year, they're gonna be releasing Mario Kart. Yeah, Wii U Mario Kart.
Mario is very tired. Very, very tired.
I mean, I can understand why. It's because the Wii U's not selling, so they're trying to bring out all their big hitters. But it's like you're kind of straining the audience right now.
I haven't seen Nintendogs for the Wii U yet.
No, Nintendo's was a DS thing.
Yeah, but it'll be a great software library for the Wii U though.
To bring Brain
You know what
Age,
I want to?
Brain Age.
Brain Age.
Yeah.
Screw Brain Age. Brain Age is boring.
That's what.
Any game about learning sucks.
Carmen San Diego says hi.
Ah, screw Carmen Sandiego.
Any game about learning sucks.
Sit up, Gumshoe.
Putt Putt is the only exception. Pop Pop and Jumpstart games.
I say Zubinis.
Zubinis.
If I could ever get that working again. God damn it. It's too old now that doesn't work.
They don't even have a torrent for it.
Huh?
They don't even have a torrent for it.
Yeah, because it runs on DOS. Who uses DOS these days? And it also uses QuickTime 2.1. Who the fuck uses QuickTime 2.1? It's like when I try to install it, it's like you're using an unfamiliar QuickTime version than ours. Please download QuickTime 2.1. I was like, what? It's
So
because
old.
the cutscenes are made with the QuickTime 2.1, so I can't even view the cutscenes or play the game because of it. It was like, God damn.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know. It's like, we're gonna do Zubiniville. I was like, I can't see jack shit. It's like the screen's all black. All I hear is music and sounds and shit, but I can't see anything.
As Brian stares at his computer screen with a single tear coming down his cheek.
It's like, why must you be so old I can't play you anymore? And you run on DOS. We've gone past that.
A long time ago.
Yeah. If only I have like a Windows 95 computer or 98 to play.
Actually, speaking of old games, from Nintendo anyways, the only old Nintendo game with Mario in it that I recall that I really liked was Paper Mario. The very first one. Damn, that was a good game.
Hmm.
They have it every generation though.
Paper Mario? No, I think they only made 3.
No. They made one for the Wii, they made one for 3DS, and they're making one for Wii U right now.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I played 3DS one. It's not the same. It's really bad, actually, which is
Really?
strange because it's Super Mario.
Really
It was
Crystal.
kind of cool. I mean, it just didn't seem to be as, I don't know, it's probably because I'm comparing it to the original, which in my opinion is amazing as hell.
The
But it's
N64
just, yeah.
one?
I'm actually curious why Nintendo is not doing that. Like, taking the old Paper Mario and, like, putting it on a 3DS, because they can.
Hmm.
They
They
could
don't
probably
get
do it.
online, that's why.
They could also do it for the GameCube one. I want to play the GameCube one because, what was it? I think Luigi was like a superhero in that one and you don't know it.
Hmm.
And it's really funny.
Ah. I don't know.
Actually, does anybody remember WarioWare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Smooth moves.
God, I wasted so many times on that. It was like, actually, WarioWare is like a giant iOS game. Like a conglomeration of a bunch of app games. It's actually really fun.
Yeah. You just do stupid shit on it, basically.
That was a fun game too.
Like balance the broom, pick your nose. It's like what? Uh, I don't know. Nintendo. I don't know. I think Nintendo needs to start thinking more about like trying to streamline their console instead of like being all stubborn, be like, oh no, everybody wants a Wii U, but it's not selling. Yeah. And
I think they also,
how much were they expecting to sell this year? It's like,
9 million.
yeah, right.
No, yeah, that's what their estimates have. They expect to sell 9 million this year, but they only sold 4 million in total so far.
so they need to find another 5 million people.
Yeah.
If they probably dumped the price down to $99, they could probably do that.
They're already taking a $50 price cut on it already.
Really? So
Yeah.
how much is it?
It was initially $250, $299. Now it's $199. Or
Wii
was
U? Wii U is
uh,
300. It used to be 299, 350.
So now it's 150.
yeah.
No, right now it's three. No, right now it's
Let's drop it down to
300.
I forgot. It's like $299 right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now it's $299.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say I was at Best Buy during Black Friday and it was $299.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just dropped the most expensive version to, 299.
Yeah. My sister saw the Wind Waker one and she was just drooling all over it. She really wanted to get that.
Well, Wind Waker is a pretty good game.
Wind
From
Waker's
what I've heard, I've
amazing,
never
man.
played it.
You should try to play it. It's actually pretty fun. It's a better version. I don't know how they did this. Do you remember that really dumb Zelda game where you have to have a train?
Spirit Tracks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You know that I played I played that version, right?
Yeah.
I also played Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Wind Waker, you have the ocean to your, basically, you sail through the entire damn ocean and it's fun. In Spirit Tracks, you are restricted to tracks because it's a damn train. Whose bright idea was that again?
I don't know.
And they were confused as to why it didn't sell well because it was essentially Wind Waker 2 only on tracks. And I'm
You have
like,
the whole ocean to yourself?
no, you got a train track.
No, I meant
You go in circles.
in Wind Waker.
Yes, you have the entire ocean to yourself. With little fishies and like little islands you can explore.
Hey, Brian.
Tracks.
You know what I say to that?
Tracks don't connect. Say what?
Assassin's Creed 4 says hi.
Hey,
You
Brian.
get pirates, you get storms, you get loot, you get booty. Hell yeah.
Brian.
What?
If you buy a Wii U, you can play Xenoblade upscale to HD.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I guess.
No.
Yeah.
It still runs at 480p.
But, it goes through HDMI.
So?
Colors are better.
Nah.
Shall we end it?
Sure, okay.
Okay. Well, it seems that's all we have the time for today. Thanks for everyone for being here today, and thank you to everyone on YouTube for listening. If you like what you're listening, please like and subscribe. This is 16 Inputs, and we're out.
3,
Bye.
2, 1.